Your blindfold's not untied, the wind could blow it down. You're convinced that it's untied, so you'll never make a sound. We could fill the holes we dug with self-doubt or hidden truth. Fill them with the virtues that we all strive to hold on to. I'm begging you to scream till your throat hurts. Same as one, our voices clear. And scream at the top of our lungs. We could stand as one, be the story of the year. We could fill the holes we dug with self-doubt or hidden truth. Fill them with the virtues that we all strive to hold on to. I'm begging you to scream till your throat hurts. Same as one, our voices clear. And scream at the top of our lungs. We could stand as one, be the story of the year.
Hey there, Vampire Logan here. No game tonight. We're not playing Curse of Strahd or any Wild Beyond the Witchlight. We are just our DM is unavailable tonight, so we're gonna just hang out and chat a bit about D&D related stuff and maybe other RPGs. So yeah, just haven't done this in a while, and I used to do a show I called Auspecs, where I just examine various topics and Overwatch and D&D and all the other things I'm into, metal sometimes. And yeah, so I thought I'd just jump in and do another one of those, and maybe talk about some current events in D&D news. I have recently, I keep up with a number of different YouTubers, like Professor DM on his Dungeon Craft channel, and I keep up with Sly Flourish's channel. He's been running a bunch of Shadow Dark RPG sort of planning sessions, which I want to talk a little bit about his way of preparing for D&D, which is a really good thing. If you've never seen it before, definitely check out his channel. And a few other things. I've recently noticed, I don't know if it's here in Canada, but in the US, the prices of the D&D books have gone really down on low on Amazon. So if you live in the States, you can get the books, the current D&D books for really cheap. I haven't bought any of the books since I got back into D&D about a year ago, because for one, I was like, I can just, get all the stuff online. I'm playing mostly VTT stuff anyway, so I already have all the books in my main VTT, which is Fantasy Grounds. But I have recently purchased a single book, at the store, because I've been running this game a few times, and I thought it'd be kind of handy to have it so I can just read it offline instead of having to go into Fantasy Grounds and look everything up. So it is this book here. Oh, that's gonna... Well, anyway, you know this book probably. The Wild Beyond the Witchlight Feywild Adventure. And I got the book for reasonably cheaply in the chapters. They were having an everything sale, and I got it for like 20% off, so I figured that was decent. And I picked it up because I am occasionally running that adventure, so and I started looking through it, and I noticed a lot more things that I didn't notice when I was running it. So it's really is handy to have the actual book, because I can jump around in here and look at things. It's really easy to look things up in Fantasy Grounds as well. But this just sort of, as you page through the book, you see the pictures along with the text, and you sort of get the general idea. They're trying to lay it out in a way that kind of helps you know what you need to know in advance. They got like little development sections that are split up in the Fantasy Grounds version in ways that you might not have noticed. So it's just nice to have the actual book and the layout and everything, and then have it all entered for you in Fantasy Grounds or whatever VTT you're using. So I got that, and I've been reading it. It's been quite good. And I would recommend this one because it is an adventure for character levels 1 to 8. It has pretty standard fantasy creatures in it, but you can go really off the rails with this stuff if you want to. It is set in this small section of the Feywild, and I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's basically there's a land that's been split into 3 parts because some evil creatures took over the land from a good creature, and they split up the land between themselves. And then you initially go to this carnival, and you find out some of the stuff about that other land because some stuff is going on there that's leading you towards it. These 2 characters, Mr. Witch and Mr. Light, have inherited this carnival or made some kind of deal to get this carnival. And so the first chapter is like really cool. You get to play through this carnival, and they have all these detailed carnival games where you can use your D&D skills to do certain things, play carnival games. You can go on rides, and there's also little storylines in there between the carnival folk that inhabit this carnival, and some of them are cursed, some of them have missing things or people, and there's just some stuff going on there, and it's interesting on its own, just the carnival part. I found I've run this game twice and never got to the finish because we kind of fooled around in the carnival a fair bit, and then when we got into the other part, it's 5 chapters, so there's the carnival, and then there's the 3 lands, and then there's a finale to it. And so we got into the first land with the one team I ran this with, but then that game just fell apart. And so I started running it for my current Strahd group, and they started in the carnival, and then we used this game because it was really easy. If someone can't show up, we can just put whoever's in here, and then whoever's available will just play through the carnival and do the carnival games and whatnot. I'm not sure how we'll run it after they get through that part and into the second part, but I'm not going to worry about that for now because I think there's one more session probably. We were thinking about running it tonight, and it could have been gotten into the second part by the end of tonight, but we'll save that for another day. It's just kind of playing it whenever. That's the kind of thing that you don't really have to invest a lot of your time into, but it is really fun if you can actually run through the whole thing. So I definitely recommend it. So while Beyond the Witchlight, Curse of Strahd, which we're running through right now, seems really, really good. I'm really happy with that one. And I'm probably going to buy it once Jesse finishes running it for us. And then and then I would recommend, if you're a new player and you just want to get into D&D for the first time, you might want to wait until the new versions of the D&D books come out for the 2024 release. That they're modifying a whole bunch of rules. So if you buy the player's handbook right now, you're going to get a bunch of rules and then have to modify them fairly soon after that. So I think that's why all the books are going on sale right now, because they're coming to this new stage where they're gonna try and convert. I think they're still gonna put out books, but I think they're trying to convert a lot of their stuff to digital. and there's a lot of information on the Dungeon Craft channel and Roll for Combat channel. These guys are kind of in the industry a little bit, and they've published things and worked with WotC and even TSR back in the day. And so these guys know, and some Pathfinder as well. These guys know kind of what's going on in the industry, and they can see the signs. And so they're really good to catch up on if you want to know about what kind of news is going on in the game industry for D&D and Wizards of the Coast and owning company Hasbro. So they're the books are going on sale, which is good for us. And that's why I recommend these two books particularly, because while Beyond the Witchlight's a really good story and has a good, you get a good amount of use out of it for levels 1 to 8. It's a good book, and it has a lot of cool stuff in it, and you can turn it into any kind of Feywild campaign you want to have. And then the Strahd one, obviously, we're in episode 22, I think was the last episode, and we're definitely having a lot of fun with that. Jesse says he's modifying a few things to specific to his campaign, which whatever he's doing is working great for us, so that's been fun. And then the other ones I would recommend, I haven't actually played a lot of the modules in the recent stuff, but I do have... Sick. So I'm a big Critical Role fan, and I've already done a box unboxing of this, but this is Tal'Dorei Reborn, and it is this is the Beatles and Grimm version, so it comes with like all the stuff split up into separate little modules and stuff, and it has like maps and DM screen. There's even some dice or something in here. But this I would recommend because I just love Critical Role, and so if you want to know anything about the lands and the gods and the material from Critical Role from the mind of Matthew Mercer, this box set I totally recommend, even though it was a few $100. It was... I would get this book if you were just going to get the book and you just want the source material, because I haven't gone through this all, but it's got great info. The way he lays out his world is pretty cool. There's like extra character options and stuff like that. You can see that. Reflecty. GM toolkit stuff. There's all these cards and like coins and stuff. Just cool little things from the Beetle and Grimm set. This one's some cards for magic items, tools of the Ashari. There's some of the vestiges of divergence. If you know Critical Role, you know what that means. And then there's like actual character sheets of the existing characters in the world, and from the Mighty Nine and Vox Machina, as well as a bunch of NPCs and stuff. And there's all kinds of little like extras, handouts and stuff. If I was going to run this in person, this would be excellent. I haven't really had a chance to run this because I think it is kind of better for in person, and mostly I've just been doing VTT stuff. So, but definitely the Tal'Dorei Reborn book. This one's split up into 4 or 5 books. But if you get that campaign setting, that will do you for years. You could like run this material for years. Let me just leave it here. So I have... Oh yeah. Also, this is not D&D related. Oh hey. How much is that gonna get? Oh, yeah. Galaxy says he's working on a Word doc for a boss, and she's going to help price art better. Yeah. If you're into art, that sounds really cool. Yeah, unfortunately, this channel isn't doing super great for me to make money off of. So I did say that once this channel starts to make a little bit of money, and thank you for subscribing, by the way. When this gets going a little bit more, definitely want to start paying for art for like our characters, and getting a more consistent art style for our game and for our characters and for some logos maybe. So we're looking into that stuff at some point, but I think one of our group is gonna redesign our user interface, so that would be really cool. But for now, this works for us. We're just here to play and have fun, and if somebody enjoys watching it, that's kind of what we're all about. So I do really enjoy streaming the games because I think it adds a different element of like, let's get on with the game, instead of sometimes where you're playing in person and you can like start chatting about your day, and like, or something reminds me of a funny video you saw, you can jump into that. Whereas if you're playing on stream, everybody's like still playing to have fun, but they kind of know that we shouldn't just goof around. So we spend the whole 2.5-ish hours of our game actually playing the game. And I always feel like we're like, that's still a very short amount of time. Usually when I do role-playing games, I play for about 4 hours. So just getting that short amount of time, we want to get as much done as we can in that period with our characters, as well as making sure that role-playing happens. So like last time, dealing with the aftermath of the death of a PC character, Filbert was like a big role-playing fest for us, and we really enjoyed playing that out, and our like sadness with what has happened, and the interactions with the standing, knowing that we had lost someone. I can't wait to see what Strahd's going to do with taunting us about losing Filbert. That's going to be interesting. I have some ideas that I hope Jesse pulls on us that will help us get more. I mean, we already hate Strahd pretty much, but he seems to be really good at making us hate this villain. So it's going to be super satisfying when we get to the final part and take him out. So yeah, this is a really good lead up, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this campaign. I estimate, from what I've seen so far, we've gotten to level 7 now, so I kind of estimate that we'll probably play about, I would say we're probably like halfway there. We started at level 5, so we already started kind of ahead in levels for, I think, what the campaign, I don't know what it says on the book, what you need to get to, but I think if we get to maybe three more levels, I think we'll be ready to take him out. We don't want to go too far where the battle just becomes so easy it's anticlimactic, but we're getting to the point where we have some pretty powerful spells now. We've just got to 7, so me and the cleric have access to 4th level spells. So I think we're going to be, it's not too hard to make use of that stuff. I have some, I'm a bit of a min-maxer when I game, and I like to do all the tactical combat type stuff. So I have a few ideas that I think are going to be really cool that we can do to kind of work over Strahd and any of his minions he happens to have. So like I'll give one example. So I think if you've been watching the show before, you've seen that we had bring up, no, I can't go on Roll20 when Jesse's not there to see the map. So anyway, we had one map where we I've used this a couple times now, but I cast a 20-foot area of spike growth. I think it's 20-foot radius, so like a 40-foot area circle of spike growth. And then you can use Thorn Whip to drag someone through it, and every 5 foot of movement they go through, they take 2d4 damage, which an average of that is going to be about 5 damage per 5 feet. So the last time we did it on the fight on the bridge, I put the Thorn the spike growth on an area where the Strahd's minions were, and then they had to run through it to get to us. And so one guy, I think it was a direwolf, ran through like 20 feet of spikes and took like something like, that would have been 25, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, it took four times sword, so 8d4 damage. And I think one of them died just doing that, and the other one was heavily wounded. And the werewolves were a little further ahead in there. But so, and that's without me even manipulating it. So if I was able to manipulate them to drag them with Thorn Whip, I can drag them 10 feet, so I can force them to take 44 damage. And this stays up for like a whole minute, so this is a pretty powerful spell. It's only a 2nd level spell too, and Thorn Whip is a cantrip. So I had thought that there's a 4th level spell called Grasping Vine, which you can pull someone 20 feet, I think it is. And I thought I could use that and Spike Growth, but they're both concentration spells, so I can't do that. But we do have a ranger in our group who has access to 2nd level spells, and I'm pretty sure Spike Growth is a ranger spell as well. So I'm gonna try to convince our ranger to cast Spike Growth instead of me, and I'll cast Grasping Vine at the back of it, so then as the creature runs through, the Grasping Vine can pull them back 20 feet and take damage to that. Then they have to run through that again, so any melee guys are going to get screwed by that. And I can also, so if she casts Spike Growth, then I can cast Grasping Vine and have it drag them back, and then I can cast Thorn Whip and drag them forward another 10 feet for a total of something like 12 damage or something, or 12d4 damage. So it can be pretty ridiculous. And Grasping Vine isn't really that great of a spell for a 4th level spell. Like, it just grabs someone and pulls them. It doesn't even like grapple them or anything, so they can just get away from it. But in that respect, it can be pretty powerful. Although also at 4th level, I can cast Polymorph, so I can basically turn. I think I can bring anything up to CR7 creature, which I looked up. The strongest CR7 creature is a giant ape. So I can basically turn one of us into King Kong. And they do something like 2d10 plus 7 damage with each fist, and they get 2 fists per round. Plus they can throw a giant rock that does something like 4d10 damage. So just like giving someone that ability. I don't know who would take that though, because most of our characters are now spellcasters or melee characters, and their abilities are equivalent to that already. So, and I have wild shape, so I can turn into a giant elk, or actually thinking the bear. I think a dire bear is in there now. Anyway, some kind of bear I can go into and do pretty good damage. But honestly, now that I have 4th level spells, there's a bunch of really good damage stuff at that level. So I think, and also like immobilizing stuff. I think I have Hold Monster or Dominate Monster or something, or Dominate Beast or something like that. So I can actually take control of one of the dire wolves. So I don't know. There's lots of stuff we can do now that we couldn't before. I only get one 4th level spell per day, so that's gonna have to be well chosen. I think Polymorph is the most powerful out of the list. But anyway, that's our game. Looking forward to playing again next week when we all get together again. It'll be interesting. There's I can also cast Locate Creature, so if we ever need to find a specific person, or I think next week we're going to try and find this werewolf, so I can cast that and look for the creature within 1,000 miles. So it's 1,000 miles or 1,000 yards, something like that. Anyway, or like a mile or something. Anyway, so we'll try that out next week. We'll try out some new spells and stuff. And now I have access to a few more slots as well. So not much else happened other than spell increase this level. But next level, level 8, I'm going to be able to cast to wild shape into a flying form. And I don't know if that's going to break the game, because I think as a giant eagle I can carry like 3 normal sized people. And so I could polymorph one of us into a giant eagle and then wild shape into a giant eagle, and then we could carry the whole party. And then we can pretty much go anywhere we want in any amount of time. And it'll be a lot faster than just traveling over land. So I don't know if I'm going to warn Jesse about that, because I'm not sure if that's going to break the game for him or not. But getting around will be a lot less of a problem than it currently is. Maybe there's something in the mist above Ravenloft that doesn't let us fly like that, but we'll see. So yeah, it's getting close to that level where we're going to be kind of a little bit OP. Because in D&D, the characters get way more powerful faster than the monsters do. So I'm already finding that just being a moon druid and having only be able to turn into CR3 creatures is starting to feel a little weak, because I can do a lot more damage now with spells. Whereas having wild shape as a backup, like I run out of spells, then I can wild shape into a creature and still do decent damage. So I guess that's good. But I think wild shape's going to become more of a like a utilitarian kind of ability, where I can use it for travel or use it for spying and stuff like that. But druids are OP, man. No way anyone can argue with that. I think in Critical Role, Keyleth was pretty powerful, but her player wasn't really that knowledgeable about all the broken stuff that druids can do. So I think she didn't even use the full extent of her powers. Even when she got to the level where she could turn into an elemental, it's like she was pretty good with that, just turning into an elemental. And there's just so many powerful spells they get. So, and of course, I guess wizards would be the same, but in our party we have, what is it? We got a ranger rogue, I think it is, or I think it's ranger and rogue. We have a warlock with the path of the blade warlock, and then we have path of the grave cleric. And the new character replacing Filbert was a barbarian, I think. And the new character is a shadow. Was it shadow sorcerer? No. Hang on a second. I gotta look that up. Yeah, let's take a look at our character sheets here. You can probably see this on our stream here. Oh, no, can't see it. What's going on? It's over here. Is it here? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it's on my right monitor. So if you can see that, that's Fallon's character. Fallon is a Ranger 6 Rogue 1. Other ones. We're here. Coraza is a 7th level Warlock Hexblade. Okay, Hexblade. And Ramses is an Asimar Cleric of the Grave Domain. And the new guy, Sasha Dubinsky, is a level 7 Paladin Rogue, Oath of the Devoted. What's this? Devoted. Where do you see their features? Okay, so kind of a fiery one with some healing. Oath spells. Oh, Sentinel. That'll be nice to have Sentinel. So yeah, this guy's not going to want to be turning into a Oh, I see he's going for the rogue, for the swashbuckler. Fancy footwork and ricochet audacity. Makes sense. Oh, Wood Elf Descendant. Fey Ancestry, Dark Vision, Sentinel. Oh, and so that is a bit weird. A paladin with sneak attack. I guess when you use it on a evil creature, then it's okay, right? That might be a little stretch, but it is a dusk elf, which is I guess using wood elf stats there, but something that this character is from. Actually, no, I don't think he's from Barovia, but he's currently there. He's not one of the cursed ones. Oh yeah, we said he's a half dusk elf, so one of the dusk elves that's there, I think, had a child with a Vistani, so he's a Vistani dusk elf um, character, and Rogue 3, Paladin 4. So kind of makes sense. Stealthy roguish paladin. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what that character does. And then myself, Shabaka, Druid, Circle of the Moon, Bugbear. And that is our group. So yeah, that's what's going on with our campaign, our Strahd campaign. And we're looking at I think probably another maybe 20 episodes, maybe not that many. We have a bunch of quests to complete. One, we have to find this werewolf and get some help from them. We have to find Van Richten's apprentice and get some help from them. We have to take Irina to Kresk and deal with some kind of vampire-ish kind of character in the Abbey, and maybe clear that out and restore that. And then deliver a barrel of wine to the leader of Kresk to get Irina to be allowed to stay there. We need to find out about this Isaac guy that is interested in Irina. Maybe possibly her brother. We don't know. And I think there's a sword, magic sword that can do something to vampires that we need to find. I think that's possibly in the mountains. There's also some evil druids in the south of the Wizard of Wine that we need to get to and restore the magic items that allow the Wizard of Wines to continue to produce their wine. And the druids have stolen these artifacts, and or perhaps maybe they belong to the druids. We don't know. That's something for me to find out. But yeah, then I think once we do all those quests, oh yeah, we have to return this episode we're going to return the Mardukov children to the Wizard of Wine, to their grandparents. And yeah, once we get all these quests done, I think that should probably be another maybe 5 to 10 episodes. And then I assume there'll probably be about 5 or so episodes of assaulting the castle of Strahd. So maybe 15 to 20 more episodes. So I think that'll get us up into about the 40s. It's going to be a little longer campaign, I think, than we previously had done. I think 22 episodes with Shattered, and I did about 30 episodes worth of my first campaign, which had some problems. I was getting back into D&D, and you know, if you want to go watch it, check out my YouTube channel at Vampire Logan, with an I. That's on YouTube. And yeah, just checking it out. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, gaming news. So yeah, I heard that Hasbro is not doing too well with their stock price right now. They were down everything, all their business down with toys is down, things that they have to produce, the cost of shipping and paper and stuff is going up, so they're losing. They're not making as much money as they would like from books and stuff like that. So they've been reducing the number of pages. This book was one of the earlier ones, and it says here in Canada, it says $65.95 for the price, and it's about 250 or so pages, with the last part of it a bunch of cutout cards and stuff like that, some monster descriptions and that. And nowadays the books are like under 100 pages that you buy now, so you're not getting as much for your value buying those newer books. And some of them seem good. I'm like, the Radiant Citadel one looks interesting to me. I'm not really interested in the Giants one. Deck of Many Things. I mean, that one looks cool. I think I would like to have that, but I doubt that I would use it for anything. I think I would just want it just because it's a fun... I've always liked the Deck of Many Things because I like random chaos, but actually using that in a campaign, unless your campaign was built around shit that happens from the Deck of Many Things, like, or if you just want to end your campaign with a bang, like just throwing a random bunch of things that happen to your characters, like drawing cards out of a Deck of Many Things, just seems irresponsible and dangerous. If they still keep it such that half of them are good and half of them are bad. But it's not really... There was stuff in there that isn't really a part of D&D anymore. Like, you get a castle and some hirelings. It's like, that could be interesting to see. You can build a story around something that happened from the Deck of Many Things. So it's like, I can see maybe starting a campaign and then each character gets a draw from, or a certain number of draws from the Deck of Many Things, and then the consequences of what happens from that is what drives your campaign to completion. So then you have to deal with whatever is the things that happen from it. Probably start at like a third or fifth level maybe. But I mean, again, there's like the Deck of Many Things. I could just do that. I could do that myself. Like, I don't need to buy a book to do that because it's just a random thing, right? And having the physical cards would be cool because you can shuffle them and deal them out and take out the cards you don't want to have happen in your game. But I could just do that with a regular deck of cards and do it, especially if I'm playing on a VTT. I mean, I guess I could get the Fantasy Grounds version of it and have the randomizer generate what card each person picks. But I don't know if that's that interesting and worth spending. Like, I think they want $100 for that book. It's like, it's one magic item, man. That's not great. It's a cool one, but I mean, are they gonna do full books for like all the other crazy, random, powerful magic items? I don't know. I mean, I could see a campaign around like, the Hand and Eye of Vecna or something, but or some of the other artifacts, so the Axe of the Dwarvish Lords, or Apparatus of Quailish. I think there was an old adventure with that set in some hills or something, and then it turns out to go into like modern day world or something. It's pretty weird. But I don't know what people would use. How many people are going to justify buying the Deck of Many Things? I think most people just buy it just like they buy dice. Like, I don't need any more dice. I've got enough dice to last me the rest of my life. But sometimes dice are really cool, so you just buy them because they look cool. Same thing with Deck of Many Things. Some people will buy it just for vanity or for something cool to put on their shelf. I know a lot of people buy all the D&D books that they put out, and some of them are YouTubers, so they can do reviews on them and stuff. But for me, I mainly just buy stuff that is reasonably practical. I did spend $200 on like buying that Tal'Dorei. Actually, the Tal'Dorei one was like $500 or $600 or something, but I did spend $200 and something on getting 19 books in Fantasy Grounds in one go, because it had a bunch of the main books, and then it also had like Tasha's and the Monster Manual and a couple other monster books and a bunch of adventures. I think it had Sword Coast Adventures was in there too. So I had a bunch of adventures because I thought I'm gonna probably run some pre-made stuff. I think I have Curse of Strahd in there too, and I offered for Jesse to use it, but he likes Roll20, so he just ended up using that. But I had all these other modules in there, so I was going to maybe run through. But so far, the only ones I've used were a couple of ones I bought that weren't part of that pack, that were just on DM's Guild. And Wild Beyond the Witchlight I used a couple of times now, but didn't get very far. And then I think, oh yeah, the Red Vampire Inn one I used for one of our one-shots that turned into a bit of an almost campaign. Possibly that one might turn into our campaign after Strahd. But I just set that one in my regular D&D world, my homebrew. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, the other ones, there's like, I wanted to do something with demons, and there was the Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, I think it was. That one sounded cool. There was another one with where they go down into the Underdark, which I already had a previous second edition campaign where I was going to do that I never got to run. So I mean, these books are great if you don't have a lot of time. I like making up stories and stuff and detailing my D&D world, so I don't normally have a problem finding stuff to do. It's more of just limiting and just having time to prep. So these books can really help you if you have minimal amount of time to prep. But I think there are a few books that I would actually like to buy that are non-official D&D books. I really did want to get the MCDM one, the Kingdoms and Warfare, because I want to run a political game like that and have the characters like run kingdoms and stuff. I don't know if anyone would really find that fun, but I kind of like the idea. But it might not be, in practice, it might not be as cool as it sounds. I think it'd probably be better if they're running a single kingdom as like a council, but they still are adventurers and they have to go do things. Or better yet, if they're like the elite warriors of an existing ruler, and then they go out and do things. So in that case, it's almost just like a higher level adventure. You don't really need a book for it, but I like to look at the rules for how to do, squad-based combat that's in there. And then there was a Strongholds and Followers was another one where you can have your kingdom, and they have rules for having a like a building that your characters own. I did find that kind of cool. And I think Jesse has that book. I took a look at it. It looks cool. Although I hardly ever have time to read through all these things. So if I buy a bunch of books, I'm just never going to read them. Even this one I have that I'm actually doing adventures on, I don't spend a lot of time reading the book. But for MCDM, the other one, Flee Mortals, that one looks really good because at least that's a practical use that you can use all the time. It has rules for kind of making your own creatures and monsters and NPCs that have more tactical based combat, and make your combats a little less like, okay, we're trying to, like, we hit again, do 20 damage to take off some hit points. It's like trying to make it less boring and have more interesting things happen in the fights. We have had in our Strahd campaign more interesting fights, and also in Shattered, because the situations we were put in made for as combat to move around and do more interesting things. In a couple of the Strahd game fights, we had the one in the bone grinder windmill, and we had some of the characters going to the top floor and climbing down, and we had some like dragging one of the hags out of the tower and then pushing her out of the window and then falling on her and then beating her up in the street, and the other ones had to come around down the main floor from the second floor. And so there was a bunch of levels of this combat, and then there was stuff we did that, using our powers and stuff to make it make some use of the area and the building and the different heights and levels. And then in the similar thing happened in the Wizard of Wines, where we got kind of an interesting situation where, because we were trying to get into the house and sneak in there, and then the creatures noticed us, we were able to kind of lead them around into groups so that we could do area effect spells on them. So that was kind of an interesting battle where we're trying to maneuver these creatures into an area where we can cast big spells on them. And there was a good chance someone actually went down in that battle. So there was still it's kind of like a zombie movie, but with the blights, and they were kind of moving in on the building. We made sure all the doors were locked and they couldn't get in, so we had a chance to pick them off from the windows. And so it was kind of like that sort of, horror themed creatures are coming around to attack the building. So that was kind of a fun fight. And then we had the one on the bridge where Filbert got pushed off. I mean, looking back on that, we probably should have taken the fight off of the bridge, but I think we were thinking of being able to push some of the creatures off, but it ended up happening to us. So yeah, we should have probably pulled that one off the bridge, but because it was clearly defined to us that we're on this bridge that's thousands of miles or thousands of feet above the ground, and it was pretty creepy, so we knew something was going to happen there. So we should have just ran back and then fought them off the bridge, or maybe gone back to the edge of the bridge and make them fight on the bridge while we fight on the land. But still, he could have maneuvered us around or something, grabbed us and thrown us off. I don't know. But yeah, I'm liking the D&D books I have. I have those ones from MCDM that I might like to borrow from Jesse or take a look at and see if I want to buy them. But as far as D&D books go, I don't think you need a lot of books. If you're just new, starting out, you can get everything you need from the SRD. And since they made a lot of the D&D content Creative Commons, you can really just go and get the text and put it into whatever VTT you want. Or if you have a VTT and you've already spent money, or even if you don't want to spend money, I think most of them have the SRD built in. So if you just want to get started in D&D, you really don't need to spend a lot of money. I would recommend probably getting the Player's Handbook if it hadn't been for the fact that they're now doing the new version of it. So I would just wait until that new version comes out and get that, or get a digital copy. And D&D Beyond, I do like. It is the best character builder, and as you can see, the character sheets look really good. Let's look at my character. They do have a nice looking character sheet, and we've got it hooked up so you can go on with Beyond 20. If you've used Roll20, you can get Beyond 20 and just install it in your browser, and then you can click on these things and it'll roll the dice for you in both this chat here. Oops. Nope. Sorry, this game log, it'll show you what you rolled. And then if you have Roll20 open at the same time, it'll also put the roll over into Roll20. And if you have your character selected, you can click on initiative and it'll put you into the initiative order. So a lot of integration there already for Roll20. If I'd have known about that before I started, I probably would have bought all the books in D&D Beyond so then I would be able to use them all there. But I went ahead and bought them in Fantasy Grounds, and so that's where I generally just run my campaigns, because I kind of, that's the thing with these VTTs. Once you bought in, you're kind of in, and as much as I like that, it's also kind of, I feel locked into Fantasy Grounds now, and I see people going on to like what's the Forge one? Is it just Forged? What is it? Yeah, so let me look it up. Foundry is the one. Yeah, so Foundry I think is one of those where you can just buy it for, it's a web browser one, and you can buy it for $50. And I think if you're the DM, you can pay the $50 and everybody else doesn't have to pay. I think that's how it works. But if I was to switch to this one now, I'd have to buy all the books again, so I don't really want to do that. It's just a little, you kind of just get locked in. And I'm happy with Fantasy Grounds. I did some research before I bought it, and the thing I like about Fantasy Grounds, I paid a decent price for the Ultimate Edition, like $150, but I got it on sale. I already had a version of the one before they went to Unity, and I had paid for it a long time ago and never used it. And then I was able to upgrade it to the Unity version for like $80 or something. And then basically I can run it for anybody. They just need the demo version. They don't need to pay for anything. So I can do all my stuff. They can access it all. Everything's on my hard drive, so I can, I don't have to be online to use it. Although if you want to have other people join you, they have to be online. But for when I'm streaming the game, I can actually share it on Discord, and they can actually see. One group I played with on the Beyond the Witchlight, they had to do that, so I could share the game on like by sharing my screen on Discord, and they could see it, and I could also stream it that way. So if you are going to stream games, it was pretty decent for that. The only thing is, it's nicer when they can go in and they can see their character and move their character around, stuff like that. So, and with Roll20 and Foundry, you can basically do the same thing by just sharing your web page in your I use Streamlabs, so your streaming tool. Yeah, so that's been good for us. I don't know which one of these is better. The thing I like about Roll20 is there's not a lot of complication to it. You can just get in and start playing. It doesn't do a lot for you, like as far as rolling goes, but if you use Beyond 20, all the rolling is taken care of there. When I don't know how much stuff Jesse has to do to get us to get it working so that he can throw the monsters in there, but it seems pretty quick once he's got it, so it works well enough for our Strahd campaign. I'll show you a little bit of Fantasy Grounds here. What do I got here I can show? So I'll show our Witchlight one. That's the only thing. It is a bit slow, and it does take up a bit of resources too. So if the people you're playing with don't have decent computer, then it's not the greatest for them to run. But yeah, Fantasy Grounds look like this, and I can kind of looking away to get this on their screen. So this is what it looks like. I like looking at the book better now, but I can see all the stuff in here if I need to go and look at what the, the character creation stuff. You get these extra races. That's the other thing too. If I haven't bought this book on Beyond 20 or Roll20, or sorry, I haven't bought it on Roll20 and I haven't bought it on DndBeyond, so I can't really use this book and these character options in the in the DndBeyond version. So I have to take the character and build it in a certain way in DndBeyond and then import it into Fantasy Grounds and then add, do the changes in here. And from then on, I have to maintain the character sheet in Fantasy Grounds. So it's not very well integrated with DndBeyond as well. So that is another concern. And where's the map? I do like the mapping in Fantasy Grounds. Images. I wish they would put maps in a separate category. Well, they do put it in a separate category under here, but there's maps. And then this is the carnival map. So you can zoom in here. And I think the players don't see these little things, so I can pop this up and it brings up the, that location, tells you all about it. So when we're playing with our group, it's cool. This middle button, there we go. So when we're playing in the game, these characters can move around on the map, and I can move them manually too. And it's just a hex grid map for this level, but most of them are square grid. And so we can move them around. We can do stuff in here. We can sort of show where they want to be. And then when they go to say, I want to go look at this thing, then I can just go click on that thing. And then all the information I need is in the description. There's box text. If I click on this little balloon text there, it will put the text over into this chat view that they can all see. Cool feature that I haven't seen in the other VTTs is you can select your character's language and then talk in that language, and then it will show you like a runic. In the dwarf one, it's a runic language printout, and I can see what the translation is. So if they talk in another language, I can see all of them. But then it shows you underneath, understood by, and it will list out the players that are playing and who understands it. And the ones who do understand it will see the translation on their screen, but the ones who don't understand it will just see this. So I like that if you really want to get into, having characters talk in different languages and only some of them understanding. It's tied to their character sheet, so whatever languages are on their character sheet, it knows. That's a cool little feature. I don't know if that's in Roll20 or not, but I haven't really used it much though. We kind of played with it around with it, but then didn't matter. So the coolest thing though is these annotated maps that have the thing you need. You just click on the thing and it comes up. So, and the combat tracker is handy because you can throw a bunch of monsters in here and then roll for initiative for them all, and then, or you can roll for the monsters and your characters. I have this tool here called Pro Stream, which when I have my, I'm just going to switch to my other interface. When I have my this interface up, if I was running the game through Fantasy Grounds and I have this external tool up and running, any changes to the characters in the combat tracker will be updated onto the UI here of the of the screen. So if you're looking at, like, say, the health, you can see X out of Y. So it'll be like, my character would be like 45 out of 45. Take some damage, it'll show the number going down immediately as soon as it happens in the combat tracker and fantasy grounds. So that's one cool thing I can do that I can't do with Roll20. So that's why we're going to probably change this interface, because we don't need this. It doesn't work for non-fantasy grounds anyway. So we're probably going to redo that. But yeah, there's a lot to this stuff if you want to stream your games. Definitely. Back to here. So yeah, that's how I do the games when I'm running them, and then when I'm a player, then I just use whatever system they want to use. It's cool. It works for us. Alright, well, I've been talking for about an hour here, and I think I didn't really do much news. Mostly just talk about the books and the games and the tools that I use. But yeah, I think I think I'm gonna call it a night. But thanks for watching, and tune in next week, where we're back to Curse of Strahd, and we're gonna do a good continuation of our story. We're gonna get some quests done, and play around with our level 7 abilities. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Here's an outro.